Now, welcome to part 2 of Hardcore Justice, the second Impact covering Hardcore Justice. Now, I'm going to get rid of most of these matches because I want to get to the main situations here. What do we got here for the X Division? Sanjay Dutt versus Manic. Now, it was Hulk Hogan who tweeted, and they stated on the show that they're no longer doing the triple threat, they're only doing one-on-one. Thank you, TNA. Yes! Finally, they've gone away from the triple threat. And if anyone really liked it, dude, look, there was no problem with the triple threats if it was going to be involving the championship of the X Division. But when they did it for every match that went for the X Division, it just became tiresome. You might not have been tired of it, but there are other people who believe that it was necessary to slim that down. Even the X-Cam had its moments, but they realized that people weren't too interested in it. So doing this was the wisest thing to do. Now here's the problem I see. They need to give the X Division more time. If we're going back to the way it was before, that's no better than having a triple threat. Now the match wasn't very long, maybe 6 minutes. It really deserved 8. I could be wrong about the time, you guys tell me below. And it was Manic who won. Now here's the question. Now that Manic is a champion, are they going to give him a storyline? Or are they just going to cart him out periodically with the other X Division guys to do some work? I'm hoping they'll give these guys storylines. If they don't give them any storylines, there's no point in keeping the X Division around. As much as I like the X Division, one of the things that was a staple of the X Division before I started watching it was they weren't giving such great high-flying moves. And it didn't matter about your weight. It just meant about you doing a great job in that ring. But they were given great storylines. If they don't do that, to be honest, as much as I love the X Division, phase the damn thing out. Because those guys deserve a lot better than that crap. Now, the fatal four-way between Superman Hernandez. Ooh, this one was a little bit of an upsetting thing with Jay Bradley, with Parks, and Christopher Daniels. Now, beforehand, there was a nice in-ring segment with the three great ones. How can I explain this? When it came to Bad Influence and Rude together, it's like a trifecta. Bad Influence, they're great on the mic. They're funny, they're enjoyable. Rude is charismatic. He's now become more interesting that he's gone back to the old way he was before. So, having them together was wise to do that. And then asking for Austin Aries to join them was also wise. But unfortunately, during the match, that did not work because he just screwed Daniels. And the person who wins that entire match, which I know people are very, why? And I have to admit myself, for that particular match, I didn't care about Superman. In certain points of it, I just didn't watch it. Went to get something to drink. Went to the bathroom. I didn't care about when Superman was there. But the person that won was Park. I really wanted to see Jay Bradley win at least one match. Because, simply put, Bradley is from Gut Check. If he doesn't at least win one match, what was the point of throwing him in there? That's the reason why I wanted to see him at least win one match. As far as I know, he hasn't won anything. So you guys tell me below if he won, but I didn't see anything. But Parks must stay the way he is right now. He must be seen. He must at least win periodically. And you saw how the crowd was going, yes, yes, yeah, like Daniels. Like Daniel Bryan. Dude, they're doing the Daniel Bryan to Parks. They like him. But see it in this respect. You need to progress the storyline for Joseph Park to become Abyss again. He's been gone for more than a year. I'm talking about Abyss. And even though you got a Eric Young who came back and is now working with him, like I said, this kind of feels like the Eric Young Joseph Park feels like Kane and RVD, who were friends, and Kane had to have his mask removed. I think that was in 2003. He had to finally remove his mask because of the loss of the match at that time. This is what it feels like with the Abyss character with Eric Young. You need this. This is how you're going to be able to tie it together and make sense as a storyline. Yes, it sucks to see Jay Bradley lose. But it needs to be done, and I'm just going to go with it right there. The next match is ODB versus Gail Kim, and I want to say this. I apologize for the last video last week. I made a mistake. I thought that was for the Knockouts title. It felt like it was for the Knockouts title because this was in Mickie James' home. It was in Virginia, and I really think she could have won that because when you see this match, and it wasn't that bad, Gail Kim mostly carried the match, but it's not the point who carried the match. It's the point what happens now after this match. Because really, did it solve anything between Gail Kim and ODB? No, it didn't. If this was part of maybe not hardcore justice, maybe it was that one night only, I believe they were talking about for the knockouts, which I don't know how the hell they're going to do that with only 6 knockouts who still wrestle. Unless they're bringing some back as a one night only, like a nostalgic type of thing. Maybe an Angelina Love. Maybe a Winter. Hell, you don't know who they may bring back. But if it's going to be like that, it could have been done then. You could have had that match then. You could have still had conflict between the two. Because I really don't see anything really great between these two. And that means that Mickie James and Gail Kim are going to have a match. But what will it eventually mean to? You know what I would have liked? I would have liked Gail Kim to finish her feud with Terrence Terrell. They never did finish it. This should have been about Terrence Terrell and Gail Kim. But I think that Terrence Terrell, I think she's on a photo shoot or she's taking time off. I'm not sure. But really, Gail Kim should be doing this with Terrence Terrell so Terrence Terrell can go and face Mickie James. Because that makes more sense for storyline wise. But this is what we got, and Gail Kim wins, and I just don't see anything that's benefiting this entire situation. Now, moving on to the 1 hour main event, which kind of coincides with this, because I talked about 6 women. We got one of those women in the main event with Bully Ray and Tito Ortiz. When I heard that a Brooke Hogan was released, I'm thinking, why would they talk about Brooke just after she's supposedly released? And then when I see Brooke Tessmacher, it's just sad. Because if you're going to go by storyline wise, you could have kept Brooke Hogan stay here long enough in TNA to allow her to fulfill that entire storyline. She gets tricked by Bully Ray. He gets the championship. She gets screwed several times by him, saying that he loves her just so he can get the title back. But when she comes to see him, he says, I'm not talking about you, Brooke. I'm talking about that Brooke. And then Tessmacher comes out, screws over Brooke Hogan, that she says on mic, you know what? I can't stand this. I'm gone permanently. Throws down the mic, walks to the back, and the cameraman says, Brooke, where you going? And she says, you know what? I'm done. I quit. I'm never coming back. That would have made more sense for storyline wise. Because if you don't do it that way, what was the point of this? This is a half-botched job. You may not like Brooke Hogan. And I've already said it in numerous videos. Look, it's not about the point if she can talk or not. We needed her for storyline work. And they just never pulled the trigger on her. They gave her very small segments and said, oh, she's not good. But it's not the point if she was good or not. You needed her to talk even if it sucked. It would have been sucky, but at least it would have been a little more genuine. And in this respect, with Brooke Hogan being gone and then throwing Tessmacher out there, it just feels like the storyline was just kind of patched together because she's gone. It would have been better if Brooke Hogan had met Tessmacher as the other woman while she's supposedly still married to Bully Ray, and then that would have made more sense. I bet you when the next Impact comes around, they're going to say Brooke Hogan is left. We're never going to see her again. It would have been easier this Impact for her to stay, see that, do a segment, and leave, and it would have been over. It would have been cleaner that way. So the next things I'm going to talk about is the Sabin and Hardy video packages. Sabin video pack wasn't bad. It felt very good the way he did it. I think that was one of his better video packages. where he simply said, I have been screwed over, it's not fair. I know the main event mafia has my back, but I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to get back. I'm going to fight. But when you see him defeated on the floor, that actually looked good for his character. So I can say he did very well in that. Is he coming back? I don't know. Will he be getting the title again? He still has his rematch clause. So I don't know. Maybe it will be at Bound for Glory. Who knows? Now here comes the Jeff Hardy, which I think was even better than Saban's. Showing many of the people in the Bound for Glory series he's going after was good. Seeing his daughter, saying how much he had to struggle, he's gone through pain and suffering and stuff, was also good for his role. Well, kind of like a taste of the road to redemption again. It doesn't make him irrelevant, it makes him relevant. It just shows that he's still in the game. So I have no problem with that. And I'm very happy that was done. Now when it comes to, let's see, the beginning of the show with Storm and Gunner versus Rude and Kaz, I could have started this early, but I felt it was necessary for storyline wise. Because if you see how Austin Aries screwed everyone the way he is, I really believe that this was done very well. Them asking for Austin Aries to join them, and Austin Aries giving his answer during the Fatal 4-Way, which I already talked about earlier. This match in itself was really to help get Rude over the most. That's what I feel. It wasn't to help get Kaz over, or the tag champs who basically have no one to work with. I feel sorry for Storm and Gunner. They have no one to work with until after Bound for Glory. So they're just in limbo. They're floating around everywhere. They're just periodically seen. And I do like how Storm's video segment was. They didn't let Gunner talk, which was smart. He's just a yes man. He's just, well, not yes man. He's basically the strong silent type. Fine. And when Rude won, it just makes the triple trifecta, as I'll call them. The trifecta of greatness of Kaz, Daniels, and Robert Roode. Yeah, I think that's good. I'll call them the trifecta from now on if I don't forget. But it works. So I'm really interested in seeing how the trifecta does. And how to progress into Bound for Glory. Now, let's see if there's anything else here. I think that's it. I'm going to talk about the final segment of the night. That is the 10-man tag of Aces and Eights against the Main Event Mafia. And one of those main eventers is going to be sent away, or one of those... I have to do this properly. Gotta do it like that. I'm going to give it to you like this, the way it was done. It was done at least with some level of taste. I was tired of the promo segment from Anderson. And if I didn't say it earlier, I just want to say this. I still feel that the Bully Ray and Anderson friction is going to lead to a war between those two. I just want to say that now. I don't have to complete anymore. But that's how I feel about that. But I was bored by the time the Main Event Mafia was talking. When it was time for the Sting to say, we're not going to let one of our own hit the mat so you can get the win. And we're going down fighting. And I was really kind of bored by then until AJ's music hits. I thought, whoa, AJ's gonna help them. When he passes by Bully Ray, who is at the ramp with Tito Ortiz and the sexy Brooke Tessmacher with those boobs that look so good. She doesn't have much of a butt, but she has some nice boobs. But, sorry. But when he came down and they switched from his new music back to his old one, I felt that was perfect. He wasn't getting anywhere as a betweener, as a loner. Austin Aries is better at that. So Austin Aries has now kind of flipped where AJ is flipped where Austin Aries is. But as a face. Austin Aries wasn't a face. He was mostly a heel. And AJ was a betweener. Now, Austin Aries is a betweener, I believe, is going to be. And AJ's become a face for the Main Event Mafia. What I hope, and I know they're not going to do this, I wish they continue doing that. I would love to see AJ continue coming down to the ring with his new music first, and then they cut it, and they go to his old music, and then he does with his normal stuff like he used to. I don't think they're going to do that. But if they did, that would be a perfect change-up for AJ. AJ can still keep the look he has currently and kind of the taste of when he was a loner, but he will be a face. People will see that. I would love to see that. But getting into the match, it wasn't a bad match. But the person who lost was Devon. And if you saw at the end of that match, when Devon was on the floor, you saw Rampage Jackson coming over to him and patting him on the shoulder when he could have hit him. You saw Samoa Joe get on his knees and was talking to him. You saw Sting talking to him. Then AJ went down to him. I think he was still trying to stay in character a little bit, but he said what he needed to say and got back up. But they really were saying goodbye to Devon. Now, I don't know if Devon's permanently gone. He probably is. But seeing this was actually quite nice to see. I know that doesn't always go along with storyline, but look, these guys put their bodies out there and stay away from their families for quite a while. And even if you hate the shit out of a Devon because he doesn't know how to wrestle anymore, he just is boring on Aces and 8, yes. He's done but a mid-carder, yes. But he did deserve that respect in the ring when a new guy and a Rampage Jackson, who I do like. I think he'll make a good addition to TNA if he's actually there. And all the others said goodbye. I did enjoy that. So, how do I feel about this show? I'm going to give it a B. I will. Because the flip between Austin Aries and AJ Styles, that was the main segment of the entire show. Seeing Austin Aries saying basically, I don't need nobody. I can do this business on my own. I don't need no Dixie Carter. I don't need no Hulk Hogan. I don't need nobody in TNA. I can do it with my own God-given talent. Basically like that. Made me feel good. Seeing AJ go from his new music back into his old and have his own attitude. The people were cheering their asses off. He's better as a face. People want to cheer for the franchise man of TNA. He's basically the face of it, so he should be a face. So this is a B, and I hope you enjoyed this Zane's view, and I hope you subscribe and comment and give me a thumbs up. And honestly, I don't know what they're gonna do next week. They're probably trying to explain what happened with Brooke Hogan, and I really wish they would go from his new music into his old with AJ Styles. I know they're not gonna do it, but I'll get used to it. You guys have a good day and have a good night.